Hello lovelies, welcome back to my channel. It's Michelle and today we are going to spend an hour in my rainbow art journal. Well, I spent the hour in the rainbow art journal. You guys will get the sped up version of it. First, I wanted to show you how I made that little flappy bit that I had just then. I got some washi tapes and I loved the little box because it had that window in the front. So I created one flappy bit, I don't know what to call them, and now I'm doing another one. So I've just glued it onto one of Marlene's collage sheets. I made sure to fold it while the paint's still wet, just to help that paper fold properly and to make sure that the size is big enough. And then I cut a quick little window out. And I'm going to cover the front with Marlene's Special Effects glue, I think. I still don't know if they are glue or paint. I'm going to call them glue because it's really, really sticky. And once it gets onto your fingers, you have to wipe it off immediately because when it gets dry there, it will sit there for days. A nice thick layer. The glue will dry clear and I will be left with only sparkles. Okay, so first page, I'm going through my little box of ephemera bits that I've been making over the last few days. You would have seen me make these embellishments with the ruffles, and I also would have a video up of the little specimen cards that I made. So I chose to use this little embellishment. This one, the fabric has a tiny blue flower in it, and I thought I wanted to bring the blue out more than the red because I don't do red very well. I find red quite intimidating, and whenever I use it on my pages I really don't like the effect. So I think it's just one of those colors that I must maybe play with until I get used to it. So for this one, just small doses. So I mixed up some sky paint and heaven, and I just mixed it on my sponge and blended it on there. And so you get this kind of blendy variety of blues on the mandala. And I'm going in with my coloring in pencils. So because this page is not prepared with gesso at all, the paint actually sinks into the fibers of the paper. So it's really, really matte, and the paint really takes the coloring in pencils well. I didn't have to press down hard to get that effect. I just colored in like I would normally do, and I really love the way that it turned out. So I'm going in with a whole bunch of different colors, and I'm just adding some dimension to this mandala. I was going to do only a few of these patterns, but then, you know, once you start, then the other bits look too bare. So I did go in and I did all of them. It didn't take too long. It's a really, really relaxing kind of thing to do. So if you ever want to relax, just go in with your mandala stencil and color it in. I don't know what it is about a mandala, it's just magic. And now I'm going in with some red coloring in as well, because the little embellishment that I had there has red on it. I definitely wanted to pull that color down to make all of the elements on my page look like they belong together. So that's what I'm doing over here. And I will also go in with my paint pen, the red one, and I'm just going to make tiny little marks around the outside of that mandala, just to again incorporate the red throughout all of the elements on my page, even though I don't love red all that much. I really like the way that the green sat on top of that blue paint. And I'm doing my little mark makings. And I'm going to stick this embellishment down with some double-sided tape. So, fun story about this video. this is my third time trying to do this voiceover because my microphone kept dying. So I really hope that this one's going to last. I took out this little stamp set from Arlene. It's a quote. It's full of quotes. I haven't used it all that much because just after she released it, she also released the sticky quote book, and I've just been using that. It's so lovely. It's convenient. It's beautiful colors and fonts and all that. But I really wanted to use that little stamp set. I first chose the Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious from Mary Poppins. I love Mary Poppins, but it wouldn't fit, and then when I cut it in half, it also didn't work. So I'm just going with a different quote, and I'm going directly onto the paper. And because my quote was black, I also wanted to just add a little bit of black into the mandala. I think if you have just one element that's a color different to the others, then it looks a little bit disjointed. So I'm adding just a touch of black into my mandala. I didn't want to go too heavy. And then I'm going to water down some of the heaven paint and just do some splatters into that white space because I will never leave anything white. This is as white as it will get with me. I really love making my pages bright and bold and fill every little square millimeter of that paper. Okay, I'm going to use a little specimen card for my next page, but first I'm making a little pocket with coordinating colors, and then I realized I stuck that down a little bit skew, and luckily with the double-sided tape you can lift it and reposition it. And to decorate the background, I'm going in with peony. It's the paper that I made the pocket with and the paper on the little specimen card both have this color in. So I thought it would be a good color to use in the background, not too strong so I wouldn't take away from the elements. And I decided to make little pink and white stripes, which I love. I normally do black and white stripes. You know, if you've been following me for a while, you'll see black and white stripes in my work often. But this pink and white stripe has my heart. I really, really love it. Definitely something that I will keep in the back of my mind and do more often in my work. It just made me so very happy. Then I found a little gel pen floating about on my desk, and it matched the blue on that paper perfectly. So I'm just doing one little line next to the pink ones just to just tying the elements together. It would look a little bit random, I think, if I didn't have an extra little splash of blue somewhere on my page. The leftover paint I just watered down and smushed onto a different page, and once I get to that page I will figure something out to do with it. That's a problem for another day. I find this kind of just throw together journals are fantastic for leftover paints and elements and things. So there's no waste really. I found this girl that was from Arlene's Luxury Paper Elements. She's holding the same flower that is in my specimen card. So I thought that they were the perfect match. And I just glued her down with Marlene sticky glue and a quote to finish that off. And then I will move on to the next page. So for the next one I grabbed, I tried a few different things, but they didn't quite work for me. So I took my specimen card that had the unicorn in, and I'm going to use that one on the edge of the page. I wanted to make it so it can flip open. So I guess they call it a tip in. But first I wanted to cover that white bit that's obviously the back of the unicorn. So I'm just going through my little stash to find something to cover that up, and just so when I flip it open, it's not that obvious white blob. So I found a couple of flowers, and I'm just going to glue them down randomly, just covering that bit. I'm using Marlene's sticky glue. Some of it is on the transparency sheet and some of it is on the border. I don't know how long this is going to last. I guess when something comes off, I will just fix it then and deal with it on another day. Okay, I wanted to, I've tried figuring out a way to make this specimen card flip open. So I grabbed some of the same paper and I made a little hinge for the frame there, just with double-sided tape, and that worked. I was happy with that. You can't really see where the frame ends and where the hinge starts. So to make the specimen card feel like it belongs on the page, I'm going in with rainbow colors. I'm just doing a little dot of each of the colors that's in the rainbow, and then I'm going to take a card and I'm just going to swipe up in like an arch kind of way. I thought that a rainbow would be fun because rainbows are so magical and unicorns are so magical. So I thought that they went well together. And they did. But of course I won't leave that rainbow as is. So I'm just going to add a couple of little bit of doodles here and there. I'm working tone on tone. So in the pink area, I'll go in with the pink hearts. On the red, I've obviously made a red scallopy bit. And I'll do some dots and dashes. And just make that rainbow feel a little bit more alive. There's also some parts where the paint blended in together a bit too much. So with that blue and the yellow, I'm just adding some blue and yellow back in. And I will also add some black and white outlines around some of these little doodles that I've got there, just to bring things together and make them feel alive. This long bit was just a scribbly. It doesn't say anything. It's not words, but it does look like it's like scribbly words, but it's not. And another little scallopy edge in that pink area, and I'm going to stick my little flappy bit down. And I love the way that that turned out, actually. I thought that it looked very cute. And I wanted to hide the edge of the transparency sheet, especially at the bottom there, because it was a little bit rough and ready, the cutting. And now I'm just, so I've just taken some of Marlene's washi tape and glued that just around the edges, just here and there. I didn't want to overwhelm it with a lot of black. And I'm looking for a quote, and I think I went with Fairy Whispers. Again, you know, the magic of rainbows and unicorns. So I thought Fairy Whispers were quite cute. Okay, this page I've torn in half, and I'm going to glue down, or I wanted to use the specimen card with this little embellishment. In the end I didn't, but I thought that they would work well together because of the greens in both of them. But I did decide to go into my stencils, and then I just stenciled with Marlene's neon green paint. I think it's called Boom, maybe. And I'm just going in with some star stenciling all over that little strip that's still left in my journal. And when that's done, I'm going to clean my stencil, A valuable lesson that I've learned recently is to clean the stencils. I've lost my most favorite stencil and I had to repurchase it because I didn't clean it, and when I did clean it, it did not end so well. So clean your stencils. Okay, gluing that little embellishment stack down with Marlene's glue, and I'm going to put a little quote on. Again, I used a black quote, so to just tie in the black, I'm going to outline some of those stars. Not all of them, just here and there. And that also just helped them pop off the page a little bit. So I thought that looked quite nice, actually. When I did the green paint, I did mix in a tiny dot of white as well, so just to boost the opacity of it a little bit. Dry, and this one I used one of my favorite little embellishment stacks, this black and white one. I really loved it, and it had these white circles on the back of the transparency sheet, so I thought I would do some black circles on the background. Some of them I'm going to color in, some of them I will make like little stripes down them, and I think that's it for today, for today's little hour of playtime. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching my videos and always commenting. It really means a lot to me when I hear from you guys. It makes this worthwhile, definitely. If you have not subscribed to my channel yet, please do so. There's lots more fun content to come up, and I will chat to you again soon. Bye.